mind, Steve?
Fatigue.
Work fatigue, physical fatigue.
Physical fatigue. Work is fine. You know. But no, just physically, just like I don't feel like doing anything.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't know if that's long COVID, if that's long pandemic, like just in general inertia. My inertia of doing little continues to plague me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if it would be different if like you didn't have to work every day, right? Like I wonder if things would be different if you didn't have anything to do but didn't need to work. Because right now it's like you don't necessarily, you don't want to do anything and you don't necessarily need to do anything, but you do need to work for a good chunk of the day. And then you're left with the rest of the time. I found that like not having the commute, because I hate the commute. We've talked about that. Like I despise I've always hated the commute. I've always thought that businesses who require people to be at a place at a certain time should have to put more resources into maintaining either public transportation or maintaining and expanding roads so that people can get to work faster, because it will be more productive for the employees, which is more productivity for the business, which is a bigger bottom line. I've always thought that that's the case, which was somewhat proven right with productivity going up when people didn't have anything to do to, so it's not fair to say like that was a great scientific experiment. But it is fun to kind of extrapolate a little bit. The one benefit to the commute was the bookends on work. You have like this little time, like, I mean, we were at a place together. My commute was 40 minutes one way with no traffic, right? So that's a good chunk of time to decompress from work before I get home and then be able to do work. I've noticed, I think I've spoken about this, like, even just having a different space and being able to like take a break and go to just 5 feet to one side with a different computer or a different, it's even getting to the point where I'm like, I really want to like, go somewhere during the day and sit in a different part of the house or something, just for a little change of scenery. So I found like, maybe getting up and like going for a drive before or after I'm done working, just like around the neighborhood or something, helps a little bit.
It's a good idea.
I also can't tell if now that I don't commute, I feel like I have more time, so I've done more things and now I'm burnt out of like things in general. So I don't know, something's got to change. So I'm going to start the 75 hard the week after next week.
I heard words come out of your mouth.
So
I know you said something, and
So basically, these are the rules of the 75 hard. It's 75 days. You have to follow a diet. It doesn't matter what diet. You just have to stick to it. You're not supposed to
M&Ms and beer.
That's what I'm like. Yes. Well, you're not supposed to cheat at all on the diet, and you're also not supposed to have any alcohol, which isn't really an issue since I'm not like a huge drinker anyway. But then seeing that was like, well, I kind of want to have some now during the 75 hard, right? Because I was told not to. Right. So there's that. So follow a diet, or pick a diet, follow it for the 75 days. You have to do 2 45-minute workouts per day, and one of them has to be outside, regardless of the weather.
Oh.
So that's especially the time frame that we're going into. I'm like, this will be interesting. I'll be doing a lot of walking out in the snow and cold, I think, or shoveling if we have, a lot of a wet winter. You have to read 10 pages a day, and you have to drink a gallon of water a day. And if you miss on any one of those things, you start your 75 days over.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you are going to do this because?
Just to do something different. And it's not like maybe it'll help me get back into some things that I like. Like I haven't been going to the gym or anything, so maybe it'll help with that. But it's really just to, I don't know, do something different. Maybe clear my mind or something. So
I would think 21 hard would be good enough. Isn't it supposed to be like once you've done something for 3 weeks, you've established a habit, and there you go?
yeah, I think I looked into that, and I believe that there's actually no science about when something becomes a habit.
It's
A
more of
good,
an art form.
yeah, I think a good rule for a lot of people is like 3 months, 90 days. I think that's like a good chunk of time.
Okay.
I had a friend that did that. He's like, we just wanted to change something up. He's like, so I'm doing 90 days, no alcohol, right? And it was the funniest thing ever. Because when he said to me one time, he's like, is it me or these 6 weeks been like the longest 6 weeks? I'm like, no, it's because you're sober, dude. And he's like, oh my gosh, you're right.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he was just, I'm like, why'd you want to do it? He's like, it was just the same routine every time we go to the bar at night or whatever, or go to a restaurant, we get a drink. And he's like, so we're just trying to change it up. And so back then I was like, I'll do no caffeine with you. And that was fun.
What is your caffeine of choice? Is it coffee, tea,
Mountain
soda?
Dew. Mountain Dew.
Mountain
100%.
Dew.
Yeah.
I recall a time I was working for a bank, contracting there, getting this project done. We were up against a deadline. And I think I worked like 16 days in a row, including weekends, right? 16 days in a row. Every day was a minimum of 12 hours working on site. I was mixing half Mountain Dew and half Red Bull. That was crazy. I'm surprised I lived to tell the tale. Fortunately, I got off of it somewhat quickly afterwards, but man, I was jittery and whew.
Yeah, it was funny because I kept it going for a while after that. And it was probably a year and a half after I started that before like wanting to have Coke or Mountain Dew finally went away. Like it was a really long time, and I was surprised at how long it was. I looked into like G Fuel or Advanced GG or Glitch, like some of these like gamer drinks, which are, they're like BCAs, or they're the same kind of thing, but they have caffeine in it, right? So it's like very low sugar with caffeine. So I was like, maybe that's like a good alternative, and I don't have the soda part and just the caffeine part. But I don't know. I could do it like doing it every day. I didn't feel super great having caffeine every day, but like once or twice a week, not so bad. And Mountain Dew, it doesn't have a ton of caffeine in it. It's very little actually compared to like a lot of other energy drinks or sodas and stuff too.
There is no substitute, by the way, for Mountain Dew. It is a very unique beverage. I'm sorry, you Mellow Yellow fans. No.
I felt like a freaking like Chandler from freaking Friends, man, when he hadn't smoked in forever, and then he takes a drag of that cigarette in like that one episode. He's like, oh my gosh, that's what I felt like drinking Mountain Dew for the first time in like 5 years. I was like, oh my gosh, tastes exactly the same as it did.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah. It's a classic.
Yeah. Yep. I think so too. And yeah, I agree. Mellow Yellow, Mountain Dew, they're not the same. Mountain Spring or whatever, also not the same. Close, but not quite.
Right.
we've got we were talking about Stranger Things last week, and so all of our kids and their friends, they're all going as like Stranger Things people. It is hilarious, and it's really funny because we're like, what do you want to be? And they're like really specific outfits, and they tell us like this character, this season, like this episode. So we've got one going as Elle with like the disco shirt, the blue disco shirt or whatever, when her and Hopper had like both dressed up. We've got another Elle going from season 1 with the pink dress and the blue jacket and the blonde wig. We've got one going as Steve in the Scoops Ahoy outfit, which I called Chips Ahoy for the longest time, and now I just do it because it's hilarious to me. Because they hate it, they all correct me.
Mm-hmm.
We've got another one going as Robin, Scoops Ahoy as well. They told me some other ones because now it's like they'd all kind of coordinated another parent.
What about Dustin in the trucker hat? Come on.
I can't. I don't know if some, but there's a larger group, and so I don't know of the whole group. I only know about part of it. And so one of the other parents was like, "We are gonna. Why don't you guys all come over and we'll have pizza and hang out, and then everybody can go trick or treating together." And I'm like, that sounds like a blast because they're all going as Stranger Things. So it's gonna be great.
That's sweet. Yeah.
And I don't know. So I grew up in a like a more residentially dense area, and trick or treating was great, right? It's like up and down one block, tons of candy because there's so many houses. It's not a bunch of walking, right? Because it was blocks, like that's where I grew up in the city-ish. But now we live out in the burbs, and there is so much space between the houses. We're like, one year I worked for Pizza Hut, I think, and I got to deliver pizzas on Halloween, and I went to a gated community, and it was the funniest thing because it was like all the kids were like, their parents were driving around in their golf carts around the community. But like even out here, we're kind of like that. It's like we don't have a golf cart, but it's like I drive in like one of the cars, we have music blasting, and they all walk because a lot of times it's really cold, and so they can't walk forever. And it's like, plus it's like, you know, nothing's necessarily connected. We live in a cul-de-sac, so nothing's connected to our street. So when we walk all the way down the street, we either got to walk back, or if we're smart and we just hit houses on each side and get in a car and drive back. It's nice and toasty. Plus then if somebody wimps out, we have a car for them to sit in and warm up for a minute.
Do you get many trick-or-treaters at your place? Being in a cul-de-sac.
No, we don't. Plus it's like our house is situated really weird, so you know, it's our front door doesn't face the street at all. It like faces the yard. And so it's work to get down to our house.
Sure.
We had some new families move into the area, and so we did have some, I think, last year, which was cool. But it's like, yeah, sometimes we'll like leave a bowl at the end of the driveway or something, and maybe some will be gone. But yeah, we always go around our cul-de-sac though for all of our neighbors to see everybody.
I bet we get a dozen kids tops. But we're also in a cul-de-sac, and you know, and it's kind of enough because of the creek going by. It really cuts off a lot of traffic. So there's not. You really have to kind of hunt your way to get back in here.
Yeah. So. Yep.
Oh well.
So we'll see how this year goes. I don't know exactly where they live either, so it'll be interesting. But like just our area in general, it's weird. Like it's a lot of work to go trick or treating. I mean, everybody's on like 3/4 acre or something like that. Like there's quite a bit of space in between the houses. Yeah, so it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. I haven't heard if anybody's going as Dustin. I feel like Dustin doesn't. I don't think he gets the love.
No, not from kids, probably.
No. I mean, it's when they first started the series, it was like the four or five of them. Like that was it. Nancy was kind of there, and Steve was kind of there, but then it's like it changed. I feel like quite a bit, and it was like really towards the end. It was like they were trying, like Dustin. It was like they had these different groups, like Dustin and Eddie, right? Robin and Steve and Nancy, and then Elle was like kind of by herself. She wasn't. I mean, she was in all season 4, but they weren't. They didn't have the band. Mike and those guys were doing something completely different and weird.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like that was the one thing that bothered me about it, is like every season. I mean, the first season was really funny to me because everybody had all this information, but nobody ever thought to talk to one another. And then it's like you think they're so close. You're like, they're totally going to talk and it's going to blow this thing wide open. And then they don't see each other for the rest of the season. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't you know if you said, hey, this is going on, and yeah,
right.
You can piece it all together, but
right.
Where would the fun be in that?
Yeah. So that's why I called it like a kid show.
Yeah.
It's just a fun. And the amount of time those kids were out, like, hey, and the parents didn't say anything, that was not my experience growing. I didn't grow up in the 80s, but that was not my experience.
No.
I don't know if that was yours, where I'm leaving and then they're just gone and they're like, well, it's only going to be a couple hours, and then like a couple hours later and it's like pitch black outside.
Right. I know my experience was if I wasn't gone for more than a few hours, it was not questioned. And I'd be out drinking underage, and they had no idea. They're like, yeah, we don't, I'd come home and no big deal. And then one time I was working at a pizza place. It was my first job. And like 5 of us who were all in like high school who worked there, right? We closed the place down and we make a couple of pizzas and take them with us to cook at somebody's house. And we're just hanging out, talking, having some pizza, watching TV, whatever. It was completely innocent, but I didn't get home till like 4 a.m. And I remembered walking in the front door, and my mother was waiting up for me in the living room. And she just looked at me and said something like, I'm just glad you're okay. Go to bed. Your father will talk to you in the morning, or something like that. I don't even remember what it was. But the one time I was doing something completely innocent, that was when I got raked over the coals.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Anyway, that was my experience.
Yeah, I mean, I was gone a good chunk of the day, especially during the summer, but never like that. And I'm maybe that young, maybe, I don't know. Middle school, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, let me see. I did have a story that I have to tell. I got to look at what it is, though. I wrote it down this time so I didn't forget. Because I did forget.
Is it your own story?
Yeah, it totally is.
You had to write it down? How was that?
Okay, this is along the lines of your CBD and beer story. Okay,
yeah.
So I take hypertension medication, and I've talked about like I have trouble sleeping. So I have stuff that I used to take for sleeping. I haven't taken it for quite a while because I was just like, it is what it is. Like if I'm going to go to bed at 4 o'clock, I'm either going to get up when I get up, or I'm going to wake up and be tired for part of the day or the whole day. That's just how we're going to do it. I'm just tired of taking this stuff. So, but I'm like running low on my hypertension medication, and I've filled it. I just haven't gone to pick it up yet. So, and then I run out and I forget that I run out. I'm like, I was going to go get it that day. And then I just completely spaced that I needed to go get it because I was out. So it comes to nighttime, and I have for whatever reason, I don't understand this, but I feel like the counts, I'll count them sometimes and they're on, but like it doesn't run out when it's supposed to run out half the time. It's like there's extra in there. It's this thing. So I've got extras, and I've got some of them are in like a half dose, so I have to take 2 of them, and then some of them are the old ones are the full dose, right? So I'm like, yeah, it's time to go to bed, so I got to go take my stuff. So I grab the thing, and they're like what they're supposed to look like, and I grab 2 like to get the right dosage, and I take the 2, and then take my allergy medicine, and then I'm like getting ready for bed, and I'm brushing my teeth. So this is like 10 minutes later, maybe 10 minutes. I'm in the bathroom and I'm brushing my teeth, and like all of a sudden I'm like, why do I feel like I am gonna fall over? Like I'm like starting to get a buzz. Like that's the feeling that I'm getting, and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I must have accidentally taken my sleeping medication. Holy crap. So I'm like, I need to hurry up, because I'm like, I don't exactly know how much I took, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to hurry up and get to bed now, or I might fall down in the middle of the floor. So I'm like rushing, and I get to bed. And like that night did not go well. So like I also have sleep apnea. And so my wife not in the room when I wake up. She'd left. She's like, you were snoring. And I'm like, with my machine? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, what the heck? That's not supposed to happen when you're using your machine. You're not supposed to snore. So because I woke up and it was on when I woke up. Like it was on my face and it was on. Like I was using the machine appropriately, but it had only recorded a half an hour. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I go listen to recordings from my sleep app, and sure enough, they're snoring. And she had told me, she's like, yeah, I don't know what was going on with your machine. It was making, like, it was beeping and it was doing all this stuff. So this is what happened. So I accidentally took 20 milligrams of Ambien. I have never taken more than 10 in my life. So I took 20 milligrams by accident. And then, so I have to hurry up and get in bed. So like I got my mask on and I got it started, which is good, because like sleep apnea will kill you, especially if you take like sleeping medication. You're not going to be able to wake up if something happens. So not a super great situation to not sleep with your machine. So what I think happened is that either something happened to the mask, because I woke up and it said that the seal wasn't very good. So something had happened and it wasn't sealed and it was blowing out. And then the machine was like, it's not on your face, we're cutting you off, and turned off on its own so that it didn't break. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I wake up and I don't feel super great because I slept like garbage because I didn't have a machine, right?
Right.
And then like the whole day I'm just foggy, like my brain will not work right, and it's because of the residual effect of that much Ambien in my system. Like just the whole day I was like this like quarter zombie. It's like, if you've had COVID and you have that brain fog, that's what it's like. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I remember that vaguely, mind you, but I remember it like, this isn't that bad, I can work. And then I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't function.
I was riding the struggle bus all day long, man. It was not good.
That is a great phrase. Riding the struggle bus. Yep.
So, and then I was like, I got to tell this story on the podcast. Steve will appreciate it.
Yep.
So it's like, and I'm like genuinely glad that I didn't die, because like sleep apnea will 100% take you out. It's a stupid way to go. But it's like, yeah, because I wasn't waking up for anything that night.
Oh.
It was so the issue is like, oh, Ethan, how could you mix them up? Okay, listen, like, don't. They look the same. They are the same shape. They're the same color. They're not always the same color, but in this instance, like the hypertension medication I have, it's either a small red round pill, or it's like this like rectangular, like oblong red pill. And the Ambien is either like a small white circular pill, or it's also an oblong red pill.
Oh.
So it's the same shape and the same size. And I thought that I had read the name correctly. They don't start with the same letter. They look similar length, but they were both 10 milligrams is what I looked at to make sure that I wasn't doubling up on the hypertension medication, which would have had way less effect on me. So I'm like, yeah, right next to it, that's where it goes. I wouldn't put it behind it. Nope, I was wrong. I would put it behind it. Not put it next to it.
Man, that's a close call.
But it was just, I was just sitting there brushing my teeth, and like all of a sudden I'm like, why do I feel like I need to like kind of like woozy or like whooshy, like everything's like whoosh. I'm like, this feels like, you know, when you take Ambien to go to sleep, like it's that feeling like, oh my gosh, to get to sleep. I don't even think I went and checked to make sure that I did. I was just like, bed has to happen right this second.
I can just see ghosts sitting around the campfire. Hey, how'd you go? Oh, skiing accident. You? Car accident, big wreck. You? I died at 103. How about you? Sleep apnea machine.
Yep. Well, I believe that's technically what killed Carrie Fisher. Sleep apnea.
Really?
Yeah, it's like sleep apnea is no joke, man. I've got a brother, like I have a couple friends. I know a few different people that like they have it and they don't take it seriously, and it's like it will take you out. It is, you are like literally fighting death every single night.
Oh man.
I knew one guy, so he goes in to get his thing, and they have these, everybody has apneic episodes. It's normal to have 5 or less a night. That's normal. Everybody has that. Anything over 5 and you probably have sleep apnea, and they'll want to treat it. So this guy goes in and he gets his test, and he had like over 100 in an hour. I'm like, dude, you understand that's more than 1 a minute. Like, that's not cool.
Whoa. That's
and
what?
I'm pretty sure it was close to 150 if I remember, but it was over 100, not a little bit over 100.
Wow. Nuts.
Yeah, mine was like, because I did an at-home test and it didn't really register. He's like, it came back as moderate. He's like, I'm gonna rate you as severe. I'm like, okay, cool. So if you have it and you're not using your machine, you should use your machine for sure. You don't need to prove how tough you are, because you're probably pretty tough if you've been running on, you know, if let's say you get like 6 hours of sleep a night without your machine, I believe that's the equivalent of 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the equivalent of 4 with it, right? So you can see the issue. Like, you need to get 12 hours of sleep without a machine to get the equivalent of 8 hours of sleep with it / a normal person.
Huh. You're just full of sleep apnea factoids tonight.
Yep. Well, yeah, sleep is like, it's relatively new in the sciences. So like even what we know now is very different than like 40 years ago. And it's also like I think lots of people take it for granted. Like these people out there that are just like, I'm going to go to bed. And then they lay down and they go to bed. It's never been my life, ever. I don't ever remember, even when I was a kid, I don't even remember that. It's always been like, I'm going to go to bed and then I'm there for a while before I go to sleep. Not ever being able to decide when I wanted to go to bed.
when I was on my Boundary Waters trip a month or two ago. 2 months ago now that I think about it. So my buddy was along, who I've been going up there for years, and our mutual friend Pat came along. It was his first trip. Pat referred to my friend Mark and I as the old married couple on this trip. But Mark is like the first day we get there, we're at camp and we set up our camp and we're kind of just hanging out, and Mark says to Pat, "Now I need to warn you, Pat, the moment Steve says he's going to bed, you need to race to get into your own bed and fall asleep, because Steve, he lays down and within 2 minutes he's snoring and sawing logs like a lumber mill." And and that did happen quite a bit, but fortunately we had spaced ourselves out probably at least 30-40 feet apart, so it wasn't quite as, my lumber mill wasn't quite as effective as it normally is.
Yeah, the last time I went camping, there was one guy that I didn't have sleep apnea at the time, and there was a guy that did have it, and I don't think his was diagnosed, but he was referred to as Yogi Bear after that camping trip because it was so bad. And like camping does not jive with me at all, and it's great that I have an excuse with sleep apnea and everything because I have to use my machine to sleep, and so it's fantastic that I don't have to go camping right now. Because it's like I can't, even with that guy snoring, like I couldn't go to sleep because he was snoring. Like, so everybody else, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're all going to bed," and I'm like, cool. I was up for like another 3 hours before I finally went to sleep.
Oh man.
And so I'm in the tent and my anxiety's going insane. Bears and I do not get along, and I know that most people don't ever get attacked by bears, and that bear attacks are like really small compared to, I get it, but that still doesn't change that my brain is like, right, a bear is gonna come and not knock on the door, but knock the door down and come in.
Yep. No, I get it. You can rationalize it all you want, but that tiny little chance still percolates in one's brain. Yep.
Yeah. So, and there is a guy, I think he's in Alaska, and he makes videos of, there's like the same bear. He runs like a store, like a gas station, and the bear opens the door and like comes in and steals snacks and leaves.
Really?
Like he'd like put a broom through the door so the bear couldn't get in, but then it's like another one, the bear like is trying to get in and he opens the door and he's like looking around and he like grabs the snacks real quick and then, runs out with it. And I'm like, that's hilarious.
What is he grabbing for snacks? What's the bear's
chips?
Snack?
It's
Slim
like chips.
No, chips. That's awesome.
I've seen another one where a seagull waited, like the store had like, I think it was like a pressure opener or whatever, and a seagull waited until someone went in the store and came in and ran into the store and grabbed like a bag of Funyuns or a bag of small chips and then flew out of the store.
Wow. That's spectacular. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, we've got little birds that I train with food. We got a new one, and so that one's not trained. And it's funny because like our bird, they know because we've trained, so they know what to do. They know all the things. And this bird, it's either like, maybe it doesn't like the treat as much as our bird did, or it's like really stubborn. I don't think it's stupid. I think it's stubborn because I think it knows what I want it to do in order to get the treat, but it's not doing it.
Oh, really?
And so like, yeah, so we do this thing where it's called targeting. So I want the bird to use their beak to touch the tip of this stick. And then when they do that, the tip though, not anywhere on the stick, it's a specific place so that then I can direct the bird where I want it to go. Like that's the thing. So I want them to touch the tip of the stick, and they get a treat when they do that.
Yep.
And this bird, our bird picked it up pretty quick. I feel like the targeting stuff. This bird is like very reluctant to touch the stick, and I kind of have to entice it by putting the treat like really close to its face. And now we play this game where it's like it knows that I'll move it closer to its face, and so then it tries to get it, but then I have to move it back. So I'm like, no, you got to touch this. Like, we have an agreement here. I need you to touch the stick in this spot before you get it. So like it does it, and it sees the other bird do it. I'm like, I know you're getting this. I think you're just being an asshat.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, food is very powerful.